Okay. Other questions?
This is Alan Giebert. I have a question for both Peter Carstensen and David Dominant. This whole fight's gotten pretty personal, and there's a lot of mud been flung at Dudley Butler, the administrator at GIPSA. In fact, the latest charge to come out against Dudley is that in a speech to OCM in St. Louis last year, I believe, he suggested that this new rule would be, a trial lawyer's dream. Well, I was at that speech, and I don't remember him saying it that way. But for David Domina, is that true? And if so, why? And if not, why not? And also for Peter, as a law professor.
Well, the Packers and Stockyards Act has been a trial lawyer's curse, not a trial lawyer's dream. The people who have tried to use it successfully for producers have been unsuccessful. So I don't think there's any substance in the comment at all. As I said a while ago, the rules reinvigorate, they don't reinvent the law. The statute has always used terms that include the term reasonable. Is that a term that trial lawyers use? Yes. It's also a term that business people use and cattle feeders use and chicken producers use. The law measures conduct by its reasonableness and always has found no better way to do it. I do not see these rules as a trial lawyer's dream. There's no fee-shifting provision in them. There's no new provision concerning the recovery of attorney's fees. They create no new right of action in favor of a producer. They do accommodate agency enforcement. That's proceedings brought by the USDA, not by private lawyers. I will add that I was also at Mr. Butler's speech, and what he said was that the term reasonable is a term of tort law that has always been a trial lawyer's dream. And that's true because it is the term around which the dispute turns. Each side can argue that each side was reasonable. The abuse of Mr. Butler here is completely out of line.
I want to echo what David had to say, that the cost of litigating, especially modest claims, in terms of lawyer time and energy, will be very high relative to the total amount of money that the adversely affected farmer can claim, so that I just see no possibility that this is going to generate any dramatic increase in litigation. Moreover, the lawyers who are actually going to make money out of this are the lawyers who work for the major livestock and poultry processors, because they're going to sit down with their clients and figure out how they conform to the rules, and they're going to bill at very high amounts of money for lots of hours to work that part out. And at the end of the day, assuming that they accept the rules as being rules that they have to comply with, they're going to be in compliance. And that's going to mean that, except when you get individual cases of bad behavior, you're not going to have much litigation, even because the rules will be out there. You'll know what you're supposed to do, which is one of the advantages of having good rules. I'm not expecting a big surge in litigation at all on this. There will be an initial surge to test the validity of the rules. Those will be appeals that will challenge the rules on their face. Once those appeals are resolved, if the rules are upheld, I think things are going to go forward, and you're going to discover that an awful lot of the claims of problems will disappear, because good lawyering is going to solve an awful lot of that.
Let me just say, Alan, that what Mr. Butler is repeatedly alleged to say is not what he said at the conference. We have a video recording on DVD of what he said. I've played it over and over, and I've made a copy and sent to him. His remark was in response to a question, which is not audible on the recording, but his remark was that essentially the essence of his remark was the vagueness of the present law and the terms used, such as undue preference, invite litigation. Not that the rules would be a trial lawyer's dream. I'd be very happy to refute word for word these allegations that are made, and and the people who have made these are well aware of the true statement that was made with Mr. Butler. They're undeterred, and they persist in repeating it over and over and over again. So let me just say once and for all, Mr. Butler did not say that the rules would be a trial lawyer's dream.
I want to say one more thing on top of that for the questioner. This is Domina again. When Mr. Butler spoke, the rules weren't published. Mr. Butler couldn't have been about the rules. The attack on him is a just lie.
Thank you, Dave. That's, this thing is disheartening to me. There's some dirty pool going on here, and the people are entitled to the truth. These rules are going to have an awful lot of influence on determining what the U.S. agriculture is going to look like and what rural America is going to look like in the future. We need to get it right, and people need to quit fudging the facts. And I pledge to you that insofar as humanly possible, we're going to be a purveyor of fact.